Okay, hi everybody. It's Hilary Stringer and me, Soleira Green, and we're both innovators, and we work with innovators, and we source the reality of a new future for the world. So we thought we'd come together and have a great chat about innovation and how that's impacting the future, and that's really exciting. So Hilary, you work with Innovate UK, I know. So you're working with a lot of different innovative projects and innovators. And I thought it might be great for you to talk about what you see about the process of innovation, but also what you see about where things are going, how you see us, particularly in the UK, but I suppose it would apply to the world as well, but where you see us going in the future with all of this. So over to you, go for it.
Thanks, Soleira. I am hugely optimistic because I have a fundamental belief that the human spirit is creative and innovative. And even though we seem to have messed quite a few things up of late, there will be somebody out there who will have the brilliant idea that's going to get us out of this. And it's happened all the way through history. Whenever a great leap forward has been needed, one comes. Some of them have had consequences that we're only now finding out about. And I think that's something we need to become more aware of, the ethics behind innovation. And should you do everything that you can do? But I think that's the more emerging future of innovation has that within it. But what I see out there are just brilliant people, bright, shiny, clever, resourceful, brave people who are putting their ideas out into the world to go, hey, let's do this. Yeah. It's been a great privilege, my career. I started off in language learning, that I did a great degree in languages. But what that taught me was to listen, to be able to hear what someone is really trying to tell me.
Yes.
And interpret what they're trying to tell me into words that somebody else over there can understand. Because often someone with a brilliant idea, they've got a cloud a huge cloud of possibilities. And what they need is a lightning rod that brings them down to, okay, your first step then to bring all of this stuff is to take this step to do that. And when you've taken your first step, then you can do your next one. And bringing just all of the vision into practical reality. And that's really what I've been doing for 25, 30 years now. It's an enormous privilege to work in that space.
Fantastic. Oh, that's exciting. I'm a big innovator as well in any area I can find it. I'm not a technological innovator, but I do run a Facebook group which points to technological, ecological, and environmental innovation. So there's that. But for me, so I spent 3 years studying genius and working with it and opening it up and teaching people how to unleash theirs, kind of thing. And what I discovered, as soon as you unleash genius, you get innovation.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's interesting because the genius is both within us and in the air around us.
Yeah.
And you were saying something about that earlier when we were chatting about the ideas are there.
They're all there.
Kind of thing. And then you marry them with your passion, with your own mastery genius, and you come up with this amazing idea that will solve things that other people haven't even thought about yet. And one of the things that fascinates me about it is that you have to almost not think.
Yes.
It's beyond thinking. You don't think an innovative solution.
No, you have to get yourself out of the way.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to get your conscious mind out of the way. The way I would describe it is that ideas whose time have come almost generate their own consciousness. Yes. And those ideas exist in the cloud. They exist in a sphere that we can access. Yeah. And if you look at, it happens all over. If you look at fashion trends, if you look at design, and if you look at engineering, that at a certain point in time, several people just instantaneously start working on the same thing. And you can't trace any contact back between them. I've had conversations with designer friends about this over the years. The thing they call the zeitgeist, that the moment, the spirit of the time is for that thing now to come forward.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be technological innovation. It's often the technology exists. The real genius comes in applying it in a new place to say, well, that works over there. So surely I can use that to do that, which you just wouldn't have thought about. And that's real genius and brilliant innovation.
I saw one the other day and I thought, oh, that's a great idea about how you think differently. Because it was on the cars. I don't know if you saw it when I posted it in Future Fantastic on Facebook, but they're building the bases of the bottom part of the car with the wheels and the battery and whatever else would be there. And then you modularly create the car you want.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, they're doing the same with houses. Building off-site, and then you can just plug together whatever you want. The production costs go down. It's cleaner. There's less waste. There's less risk to the people doing it.
Yeah. It is amazing, and that's the joy I take from innovation. And I would say I've learned to do that with people in a variety of ways. You know, it's like you supersede your own thinking, because thinking is kind of like what you already know, what's already going on. It processes that kind of stuff in a genius way, but then you tap this zeitgeist, as you say, this field of ideas and innovation and solutions, and it's like a moment of brilliant insight that comes to us. And I have seen in just my watching the world in the past 3-4 years, I've seen a huge swing of innovators coming up with how to get rid of plastics, how to clean up the ocean, how to get batteries to run forever, new ecological energy alternatives that they're just breathtaking when you see the kinds of things they're coming up with, because they're thinking beyond the current thinking. You know, which is just wonderful.
And people can be taught to innovate. It's a skill that anyone can learn. You can.
I think so too.
There is training in some of the methodologies. For me, I think there is a difference, and we can all do it, and we all should do it, because you can make your daily life better just by having a look around you and re-engineering how your life works. Just on that, we've been watching the series on Walt Disney and how he created the original Disney theme parks. I had not heard the whole story before. Absolutely wonderful. His vision of a better future. And he dared to imagine it. And what he then gave his Imagineers was space to play. It wasn't work. It wasn't hard. It was, and they could go off and spend the day by the sea if they needed to. They would do just what they needed to do to let the ideas rush in. If you create a square box and expect ideas to form in the square box, that's never going to happen. You've got to be amorphous while you're doing this. Let yourself be any shape. Let yourself be surprised by what you come up with. And never be embarrassed, because there's no bad idea when you're doing this. Just chuck the ideas out. The ones that stick are the brilliant ones. The other ones you'll have a good laugh about later.
Oh, yeah.
My personal favourite of the crazy ones, there was a guy who came to me with an idea for doing away with locks in canals. And he reckoned you could just have this big tube that you would ride into and then tip, not having thought at all about the gravity of a huge narrowboat that's suddenly swooshing out of the end of the tube. So he's always my favourite. He went on to design something truly brilliant, but that was his low moment.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you know, one of the things that's my specialty too is what I call collaborative genius fusion, where innovators come together and fuse ideas into one grand thing. So that's why I call it collaborative genius fusion, because no idea is left out.
No.
It's what we do in our consciousness groups. Each person has their own mastery and genius and orientation and passions and interests. But when we go to do the work, it just comes together and out pops this thing that's more amazing than any one of us might do together. And I just wish that right from early years, people were trained in the art of genius innovation and collaboration like that. Because I read this wonderful piece yesterday, and I believe this is happening too, that where right now societies are mostly run by governments, whether that's local or national or whatever. And what's happening through the 2020 is we have this kind of, coronavirus lockdown, all that kind of stuff, is that you're starting to get people band together, they're moving beyond activism, is what it was saying. I thought, they're moving into collaborative projects that innovate.
Yes.
And that's how societies are starting to go, oh, okay, here's a challenge, here's an opportunity. Let's come together and let's create something new. Like, here's a simple example. This may be done in other places too, but in Glastonbury, they've just implemented the Glastonbury food fridge. And at the town hall, it's in the town hall, and there's just a little room. It has a fridge and it has cupboards. Anyone can go in and pick up food from it anytime they want. And if you run a garden, you can bring your veg, if you got it surplus, and drop it off and somebody will take it home.
Brilliant.
And they have a little donate box if you want to donate, but mostly they get the food, I think, from the grocery stores who are throwing stuff away. It's really still okay to eat. And it's like literally it rolls around through a day. People come and it's gone, and then they refresh, and it's pretty interesting.
But that just took one brave person to say, why don't we have one of those in the town hall? It takes one person to step up with a good idea, and all sorts of things can change.
It's a simple thing which really helps homelessness and helps, the prosperity of the town, and helps with the well-being of people during this time. And I just think, what a fabulous project that is. It's really, really very, and they have volunteers staff it when they need it from the town. And I just think that's an idea whose time has come. Just like you were just reading in another video, your love letter from the future, which is about one seed started it all. And you were talking about how growing fruit trees through the town, which helps with the climate, but also anybody could come and just take the fruit from the trees, and there was no concept of you're stealing off my property kind of thing. It's
rebuilding community. We've somehow lost our way. There's some of the African cultures where if you're not okay, I'm not okay. That's what we've lost. And I think we are finding our way back there. And in a lot of the innovations I see, it's about trying to create better quality of life for everybody. And lots of creative industries projects, which are really focusing in on how you bring people together to get the best out of a historical experience or a theatre experience or whatever. And they will innovate the way out of the situation they're in now. A new business model will emerge that lets us carry on no matter how long this virus happens or the next one. We will change. We're resilient. I think human beings are resilient. But we were chatting earlier that if you look at people in war zones or in refugee camps in difficult circumstances, they've very often rigged up quite spectacular ways of making their life better from just found objects, because we're made that way.
Yeah, I love it. I think the future is in very good hands.
Yeah, it is, and there is no lack of supply pipeline of good ideas. Particularly with during this period, people have had a bit more time to think and realise they need to change. So loads more ideas have come out of the cupboard. So I think this next 5 years is going to be very exciting.
I would love to see local communities and nations and even the world run by a collaboration of innovators.
Wouldn't it be good? Wouldn't it be good? Yes.
Well, and I think you need people from all different walks of life who bring, including young people, like 8-year-olds, 12-year-olds, and 95-year-olds. And I think we need to come together to have thoughtful and exciting possibilities of how we might go forward and the things we might do. So I love the whole spirit of innovation and genius and collaborative creation together. So
my design friends would talk about people's lived experience, that if you've got a 95-year-old and an 8-year-old in the same room and you're trying to solve it for them both, listen to them. Hear what it is that in their daily life they come up against, because we can't know from in our own little bubble. You can't know what somebody else's world is like unless you ask them. And that conversation will often unlock so many other possibilities that if you can make it work for a 95-year-old, it'll probably be accessible for all of us. If an 8-year-old can understand it, then all of us are going to understand it. And it's just shifting your perspective.
maybe we should develop a course on innovation and then give it to everybody.
I'd love to.
We're on it. And we
We're
have
on
to
it.
innovate how it will happen too. Yeah, that would be fabulous. I love it. Thank you very much for all that. It's so exciting.
Lovely to chat with you, Soleira. This is my passion, as you can probably tell, and it's been my privilege. It's also been my career. But,
yeah, me too. So thanks everybody for watching, and go for it. Innovate like crazy.